The five biggest college football games of the 2019 regular season. It stands to reason that there are seven possible pathways to get into the college football playoffs. ACC champion, SEC champion, Big Ten champion, Big 12 champion, Pac-12 champion, undefeated independent, and SEC number 2. Now let's talk about who can claim realistically one of these seven pathways to the college football playoffs. Let's start with the ACC championship, as the ACC champion has made the college football playoff every year since its inception. Barring a Trevor Lawrence injury or the unlikely return of the phenomenon known as Clemsoning, Clemson will claim its fifth consecutive conference championship. Clemson's toughest test is an early home game against Texas A&M. Fun facts: Clemson has been an underdog in every CFP game they played in. Clemson is the only team to go 15-0 in the CFP era. Now let's take a look at the SEC championship, as the SEC champion has made the college football playoff every year since its inception. This will presumably be Alabama, even though both Georgia and LSU are breathing down Bama's neck. The dark horses Florida, Texas A&M, and Auburn are all more than capable of ruining somebody's season. Fun facts: the SEC is the only conference to send two teams to the CFP in the same year. SEC teams also have the highest winning percentage in CFP games. Next up is the Big 12 championship. The Big 12 makes the college football playoff 60% of the time, which includes the last two seasons. This will likely come down to Oklahoma and Texas. If Jalen Hurts plays up to his potential and Oklahoma can manage to shore up his defense, then it'll be Oklahoma. If not, Sam Ehlinger and Texas just might get the nod instead. Fun facts: the Big 12 has never won a college football playoff game. The Big 12 has only sent one team to the college football playoff: Oklahoma. Next up is the Big Ten championship. The Big Ten makes the college football playoff 40% of the time, but has missed out the last two seasons. This will likely come down to Michigan and Ohio State, as Trace McSorley from Penn State has declared, and Washington and Michigan State have returned to mediocrity. Fun facts: the West Division has never won the Big Ten championship game. The Big Ten has been shut out twice in CFP games. Next up is the Pac-12 championship. The Pac-12 makes the college football playoff 40% of the time, but has also missed out the last two seasons. The Pac-12 champion will be the biggest question mark in the CFP race. The favorite to win the Pac-12 is Oregon. The next best bet is Washington. Washington State and Utah are also believed to be in contention. Fun facts: the Pac-12 and the Big 12 have never made the CFP in the same year. The Pac-12 has never upset a higher seeded team in the CFP. Next up are the undefeated independents. The undefeated independents make the college football playoff 10% of the time, including a trip last season. There are 6 independent programs: Notre Dame, Army, BYU, Liberty, New Mexico State, and UMass in college football, but only Notre Dame has a realistic chance to claim this spot. Last but not least is the number 2 team from the SEC, which makes the college football playoff 10% of the time, including a trip 2 seasons ago. A one-loss SEC team will have a strong argument for a playoff berth. Realistically, only Alabama and LSU from the West Division and Florida and Georgia from the East Division have a chance to claim this spot. In case you have not been keeping track, that makes for a total of 12 teams with a chance to make the college football playoffs. LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Michigan, Clemson, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Florida, and Washington. Some of these teams will play each other during the course of the regular season, so here's my list of the biggest games of the 2019 regular season. LSU at Texas, September 7th. This is a big game for both LSU and Texas because neither team is the favorite to win their division. If LSU loses, they will have to beat Alabama and Georgia. If Texas loses, they will have to beat Oklahoma twice. Notre Dame at Georgia, September 21st. This is a big game for both Notre Dame and Georgia because Notre Dame is not a lock for the CFP with a loss, and if Georgia loses, they will have to beat presumably Alabama in the SEC championship game. Notre Dame at Michigan, October 26th. This is a big game for both Notre Dame and Michigan because Notre Dame has to also play Georgia, and if Michigan loses, they would have to beat their arch-rival Ohio State in the game. LSU at Alabama, November 9th. This is a big game for both LSU and Alabama because the winner of this game will have the inside track in the SEC West, and the loser will be in the serious jeopardy of being left out of the SEC championship game on a tiebreaker. Ohio State at Michigan, November 30th. This is a big game for both Ohio State and Michigan because the winner of this game will likely go on to and win the Big Ten championship, and the loser will likely be on the outside looking in come playoff time. There are 3 other big games this season that I believe are worth an honorable mention, as they could have ramifications come playoff time. Oklahoma versus Texas in Dallas, October 12th. This game will probably not mean as much as a likely rematch in the Big 12 championship game. However, whoever wins this game will certainly be in a strong position to make the CFP, and either team can lose this game and still likely make the CFP by winning out. Oregon at Washington, October 19th. This is a big game for both Oregon and Washington because the winner of this game will likely go on to and win the Pac-12 championship, and the loser will likely be on the outside looking in come playoff time. Georgia at Florida, November 2nd. This is a big game because the winner of this game is a virtual lock to go to Alabama in the SEC championship game. However, the loser is not necessarily out of the college football playoff mix. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for new alerts about videos.